I'm Dr. Elaine Tong. I am an osteopathic physician, as Terry was saying. I am board certified in family medicine, so I do primary care, but also have a subspecialty in pain management. And that I have to give credit to my father, Dr. Ewing Tong, who's an anesthesiologist who trained at USC. He got me very interested in medicine at a very young age. Let's talk a little bit now about boosting immunity. And first, I kind of wanted to introduce the PEMF and just kind of the basic principle of how it works, how does it boost immunity, how it helps to maintain health. So before we do that, we have to kind of talk about our blood flow, okay? So obviously we know that blood flows from the heart into your vessels and into small miniature vessels called capillaries, okay? And this is where all the work is done. There's exchange of water, oxygen, carbon dioxide. This is where we absorb our nutrients and then waste is taken out, either through, breathing up carbon dioxide or through the GI system where, we eliminate through our feces and our urine. So in order for our health to function optimally, those blood cells need to be, should be working at the optimal function, meaning that they need to be organized, okay? So because the capillaries are so small, the red blood cells need to travel single file. So what happens, which is as we age and we have disease, is something called the rouleaux effect. And this is when the red blood cells stick together. So this happens and they stack together. And what happens when the blood cells stack together is that the surface area of the blood cells are reduced, okay? And this is where oxygenation occurs. And so the more you stick together, the less surface area you have and the less efficient it is because you have less oxygen that can be used for cell function. And it can actually reduce efficiency by up to 50%. I think I read in a paper up to 8 cells stacked. So that's not good because then your blood is really not working to its maximum potential. And so what causes rouleaux? Inflammation, which from stress, infection, eating the wrong foods. So, a high acid diet, like so too much protein, a lot of dairy, soda, sugar, that causes your blood to become thicker and stick together. And so in that way, your blood cannot travel efficiently through the capillaries, especially because they're so small, they need to be single file. So that's where PEMF comes in. What is PEMF? PEMF is pulsed electromagnetic field. And just simple, I don't want to bore you with, the science on it because actually I really only know like kind of just the clinical pearls. But what it does is it positively charges blood cells so they repel each other, kind of like a magnet. Say when you have the positive charge together, they repel, they will not stick together. And so when you lie on this mat, it will organize the cells basically so that they can travel more efficiently so they don't stick together, basically, decreases the rouleaux effect. So I kind of wanted to share my screen now to show you, Terry had shared this with us before about Dr. Jim Maynard, who was an optometrist in Texas, I believe. So I'm going to share this right now. So Jim Maynard, he was a optometrist in Texas who retired in 2003, I believe. 3 years later, he had a heart attack. I mean, he was healthy all his life, and then all of a sudden he had a heart attack. He didn't know what to do. And basically he had a triple bypass surgery, and he was feeling great. But then he said after that bypass surgery, he had 4 heart attacks in the next 4 years. So, average 1 a year. So really, like I said, in Western medicine, they are only treating the symptom and not really what was causing his cardiovascular function to go haywire. So, it took him a while to really, bite the bullet and try PEMF, but I believe he saw Dr. Oz on it, several years later in 2012. And then finally, 5 years later, he finally decided, I should try this out. Okay, so this is kind of the blood analysis showing what happens with the PEMF mat when he was using it. So this first blood analysis you see here was after 3 weeks of use, okay? So you can see that the cells are not really super clumped together, but if you can see the dark area around, that's the oxygen, okay? So this is really showing that, you know, it's not bad. Three weeks of use, and I believe he used it daily, 2 to 3 times a day, and he was saying he used the regeneration cycle. And usually it's about 24 minutes. And regeneration helps with anti-aging. It helps with a detoxifying, energizing, you know, energizing the mind, body, etc. So this was first blood analysis after 3 weeks of use, okay? Also here on the left, you see that there's also rouleauing, okay? I wonder why this is, yeah, okay. So on the left here, you see that he also had some abnormal cells, okay? So nothing, it wasn't completely perfect, or, you know. So then if you look at the right side, this is after 3.5 months of daily use. You can see compared to the first analysis, there's improved wall thickness, and no rouleau at all. And this is after 3.5 months. So you can see a huge difference from the left and the right, what happened by lying on the PEMF mat, okay. So then he decided, well, let's see, is this really working? He decided to stop using the PEMF mat for 3 weeks. And that is what you see in the third blood analysis. He says disaster strikes, okay? So you see immediate reclumping of the stacking of the red blood cells. So, you know, that actually makes me wonder, do we have to use this forever? And I think maybe in his case he does, because he has all those years of cardiovascular damage to his cells, and the PEMF is what's helping those cells to repel each other so that they will not clump again. And because he had the damage, I believe the PEMF will not repair the cells, but they will at least help the cells function as best they can, okay? So then the fourth blood analysis, you see, he started using it 3 weeks again, and you see again the unclumping of the cells. So that's kind of a little visual for you guys to see that how it works, because it's hard when you're lying on the mat. I've laid on it before. Sometimes you don't feel anything. You're like, is this really working? So this is kind of visual proof that it is really doing something to the cells and helping maximizing oxygenation of the cells, and basically maximizing the function, organ function of the cells too.
You know, if we don't have our health, we really have nothing. And I've had so many patients over the last 15 years tell me, I spent my health to get my wealth, and now I'm spending my wealth to get my health. So I've just heard that from so many people. So I'm glad you guys are here taking proactive stance to be able to improve your health. And thank you, Terry. Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you to Swiss Bionic Solutions, number one, for inviting me again to provide you even more information than last time. I'm very honored, and I'm very pleased and privileged to provide this to such an incredible group of people. You know, I've met, as Terry said, I do network, and I love people. I love helping them. It's been a passion of mine for years. And now what I'm so passionate about ever since I met Terry is this medical mat. It's really, you know, I learned something when I was in medical school, and finding out that there was a little TENS unit, and this is like leagues beyond that. And now that there's the new mat, I don't know if you guys are fully aware of the new mat and all of its capabilities. I think all of us really need to upgrade to the new mat because it can do so many more things. It's so much more flexible and provides us information. Especially, I'd love for Greg, hello Greg, I'd love for you at the end to talk to us a little bit about the HRV, the heart rate variability information that I feel is actually essential to be able to help our health. And that's what the new mat incorporates. So, I mean, Swiss Bionic Solutions is always staying on top of the latest, the cutting edge. And as far as I'm concerned, this is the medicine we've all been waiting for. Like, this is the Star Trek medicine. I remember watching Star Trek decades ago, and they would just, you know, wave something over you, or you'd lie down and they would do something, or they'd turn something on. You never knew what was going on, but now we have it. It's here. And especially with the HRV, that heart rate variability information is absolutely critical. I can't go into all of that right now. I want to provide a lot of great content for you guys today.
This is a big concern for me right now, where I have to start looking at my cases in relation to 5G exposure. Now, in relation to PEMF, we're now talking about the electrical system. So with your PEMF, you're going to have every day, first of all, PEMF is valuable when there is consistency. Otherwise, it's pointless. You have to do it on a day-to-day basis. Now, the 5G has already been rolled out. You go in online, whichever area you live in, and put down on the phone, on your computer, 5G rollout. I put New York City, I can see where they rolled it out. So most places have it, 5G is already out. The bigger problem is there is a company, I think run by Elon Musk, it doesn't matter who, that has been given permission to release, I don't know, thousands of 5G satellites into our airspace. And this is really important to understand. It is nowhere near what we've been accustomed to in terms of our exposure. It's going to go up so much higher that people do not comprehend. So we're going to have 5G from your global airspace, plus on the ground. So basically, you're in a microwave. Now, this is going to make your PEMF extremely valuable, because you have to counteract the disruption that is going to occur to your entire system, not just the heart or the brain. Now, the beautiful thing with the unit is you have something to rebalance the brain and the central nervous system with the brain piece, and then you have the physical body being balanced.
I'd had 4 heart attacks. My first one was in 2006, 2 months after I turned 60. Then I had 2 more in a 5-month period. A couple of years later, in 2010, I had my last one. And it causes a lot of problems, as you can imagine, but the biggest problem was just endurance. I was up to running 15 miles a day at times when I would be practicing for a race or something. But what I did after that was just, I went down to 3 miles walking after my heart attack. Then I got back to running again. But that 3rd heart attack was the one that pretty much ended everything. I can still walk. I can't run very far. I do get angina, a little chest pains, and it's not the most fun thing. So what I did was I decided, after watching the Dr. Oz show, that I would like to find out about the process that was shown on there, keeping the blood cells magnetized and separated, so and enhancing their iron ability to hold oxygen. And I thought, well, that may help with some of my shortness of breath. And I was doing it 2 to 3 times a day, and I was using the regeneration side. I have no idea why, I just did. So I'm not that knowledgeable about the PEMF, although I'm getting much more knowledgeable. My ability to run and stay healthy is, I would never give up my mat now, never, ever. And that's what I always said, but don't just buy it, use it yourself, and you'll love it.
Of what we use in Swiss Bionics being the Omni Brain to actually achieve better brain entrainment. Remember, PEMF is a great adjunct for putting in better health, better function, for better homeostasis and optimal living. But this brain entrainment has really got me excited as a chiropractor. And honestly, this device of the Omni Brain is what led me towards Swiss Bionics and not the other companies. So this has been a great honor and great time for me to bring more awareness to the Omni Brain, because I don't think it is used enough to really where we can get a lot more use out of our Swiss Bionic systems when we use the Omni Brain itself.